This is the video review of Daitalion from Webdiver. What this thing is, I don't really know. It certainly looks cool though, very steampunk. In fact, it kind of looks like, it reminds me of the Hildegard, what was it, like a 2, 3, or 4 from Final Fantasy IX, but like maybe a later iteration or an earlier iteration of it, or something like that. But it's very fantasy-esque, a fantasy-esque flying ship, but there are also hints that it's like a submarine, because like, you have this little anchor bit here, but maybe airships use anchors. I don't know. Airships aren't really a thing the way they are in fantasy stuff. But anyway, it's a very cool-looking thing, and whatever it is, I enjoy the bulk and size of it, because like, if you think of this as like the bridge of a ship, like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise, then this thing is ginormous, because like maybe 10 or 20 people are in there. It means people are about smaller than ants. And so this thing would be ginormous, like a giant blimp-like thing. So I really enjoy the scale that this thing implies. It's really cool. And there's not too much to it. You get little guns back down here that can turn and fire, which kind of makes me think that this is like an airship designed to attack ground targets. You get these missiles on this side. These things can turn, but the missiles don't fire yet. It's just storage for the missiles. And you get these little props at the back that can spin. These don't spin freely, but they can turn. You get these little things that can move. I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do with them, but like, if you fold them up like this, it's another bit of a Final Fantasy IX motif that this thing kind of has, like, not on purpose or anything, but it reminds me of Freya's helmet from Final Fantasy IX. But anyway, that's about it for this mode. It's more of just a big, cool-looking chunk of plastic than anything else. It does have this little strut for landing gear, and then it also lands on its vent nipples or fan nipples. And there is this little guy right here that comes with it, and I'll show you what this guy does later, but actually, before we get the transformation, one other thing. There are 2 figures, there might be 3, but no, there are at least 2 that can attach to these little clip ports here, and when you do that, this thing would extend out, because it would be quite a bit taller, and those little extra figures, which they cost so much to get, they're so hard to get, they're harder to get than Daitalion, and this guy is hard to get, because Webdiver stuff is crazy obscure, but they would combine with this guy, and basically the same each time, but they all have combinations of them. But anyway, to transform this guy, first thing you're going to do is you're going to rotate this all together and just leave it on the back like that. Then you're going to grab this side of the pontoon, or the front of the pontoon, and you're going to rip it off of the back of the pontoon, and you're going to shove it forward, and then you're going to take this entire thing and you're going to bring it in like that. I'll show that to you from the front. This guy's a bit bulky and hard to show off, but you bring it to the front like that, and also push that little thing in. And then what's going to happen is we slid it forward on this rail system right here, and now we're going to push it in like this. And then when you bring it up, it'll snap into place, and that's one leg done. And I really love that leg transformation. There is one last thing to do with the leg, and I also like this. You split this apart, and then you press the fan in like that. And I just think that is super duper cool. Now I'll do the same thing to the other side. I'll do this first. Push the fan in, then we'll pop this out. We will slide this down that track. Rotate the little gun around down here so it's out of the way. We'll bring this down like that, and then we will collapse it forward like that. And here we have the legs done. So now he's standing, and we will rotate around the upper body like this. And now we're going to work on the hands. So to start off, we're going to rotate the missiles around. We're going to move them down. It moves up and down on the track inside of this thing. Rotate it out to the side, bring this forward. Then we're going to come down here, and we are going to open this up and pull out his hands like that. Now we're going to do the same to the other side. Then we're going to pull out the hand. And for the most part, here's the body done. And you can do whatever you want with this stuff. I tend to leave it up like this. Like, if I leave it like this, I think it looks a little bit plain. If I spread it out like this, it looks okay, but it's a little bit messy. I prefer to keep it up like that because it keeps everything up where it's always going to be visible, and has a really nice, a nice layered effect to it. So anyway, this is Daitalion's robot mode, but without his head, and that's because this little guy is a Headmaster. And I really like the way this guy works because there's something wrong with his feet down here. One of them's colliding with something wrong. I don't know what it was. Probably just ran into a little bit of the grain of wood because the review station here isn't perfectly flat. I couldn't sand it down enough. Anyway, this guy, his arms move in and out like this, and his legs move forward and back like this, and he doesn't have any more articulation than that. I used to know his name, but I can't remember it now, and I really don't care that much because, like, if you're interested in this set, just look up Daitalion, and you'll be able to find a lot more information on it. Now, the way this guy turns into a head is you're going to fold these up, and you're going to fold them down like that onto his back, just out of the way. You're going to fold up his hands like this, turn them upside down, and fold these up, and then his little crotch gem will turn to the forehead crest. These little random bits of plastic will turn into the clear blue plastic will turn into the eyes. This will turn into the helmet. This weird crotch thing will turn into like that feather thing that Roman centurions have, and I guess this turns into his mouth or something. But I really like the way this looks because, like, when it's in his robot mode, it doesn't quite look like this is going to turn to a head, but when it comes together really well. And so the way it hooks together is there are these little slots right here in this white plastic, and there are these little tabs right here. So you just plop it down onto those. And it's a little bit hard to get the aim right because it's you can't really see what you're doing when your hands are in there. Now this guy does have a gimmick where if you shine an IR sensor into here, or an infrared light into here, this is an IR sensor. And if this guy up here had batteries, he would be able to do it like you would press this, and then that would light up, and then this would receive it, and then this would happen. To do it manually, just press up this orange thing, and then you get this little cannon on the inside, and this is where you would use the missiles. This is where they can actually fire. You put them in like this, and then to make it fire, there's a little button behind his head, so boom. I don't know how well you could see that, the button, but I'll take off the head so you can see. It's just a clear blue button right here that releases it. Now this thing in here actually does something else that's really cool. You pop it out, and if you have the other accessory mecha, they would replace this guy as a Headmaster. You would take this out so they would have room inside of there. So I'll go ahead and I'll replace this guy, and I'll close his chest. Now what this thing does is it turns into an axe. So you pull out the handle, then you pull these out, and you rotate them up. And here you have a really cool looking techno axe. It's a little bit flimsy because, like, the handle is made out of a bunch of hinges, and so are these, but it looks pretty cool. And the way he holds it is you just open up his thumb right here, and then you just slide it in like that, close it, and here he's got a pretty neat little axe. So, and that's about all to this guy. He doesn't have much articulation. His arms can rotate up and down. They can rotate 180 degrees at the elbow. You can move his thumb, and these can rotate a little bit. And his legs are not really going to get much movement out of, even though they have some hinges in them. And that's because the only way he'll really stand is if you just keep him straight up and down. So anyway, this has been the video review of Daitalion. I don't know if I really recommend him because, like, after I got him out of the box, I was expecting something kind of bigger and that did more interesting things. And he ended up being just a wee bit of a letdown. I've grown used to him now, and I do like him quite a bit, but he's just not quite what what I was hoping he would be. I thought that he would have, like, when I saw other people do his transformation, it looked really fun. That I got in hand, it ended up being a little bit more fiddly than fun. So I don't know how much I recommend this figure. He's certainly a nice figure to have, and he looks really cool. But just, like, if nothing else, just having some better hint about what his alt mode's supposed to be would have helped me a lot. But anyway, It's moderately recommended, especially if you're into Webdiver stuff like I am. I review Transformers, Power Rangers, Digimon, Tobots, Mini Force stuff, lots of stuff like that. If any of that sounds interesting, please subscribe, and thank you for watching.